time to talk about luxury cruising. From sweet, so sweet to ship's elite. Come explore the world in style with me on Luxury Cruising, the podcast.
Welcome back to Luxury Cruising. I'm your host, Krystal Sodaitis, and today, for the second year in a row, which may become an annual tradition, I don't know, I'm going to be talking about the new ships that are launching in 2026. And I'm not just talking about the ship in general, what new restaurant they have, what new roller coaster they have. As on the Luxury Cruising podcast, we talk about the luxury. How are the mainstream lines really pushing that luxury experience? And how are the luxury lines doubling down on exclusivity, personalization, and design? If you're like me and you love the sweet life, and hopefully you are, and that's why you listen to the podcast, settle in and let's talk about why 2026 is going to be breakthrough year for luxury cruising. So what we're seeing in general for luxury for the luxury cruise segment is that the big ships, the mega ships, the mainstream lines, they're adding and expanding their suite enclaves. Their ship within a ship is getting bigger and taking up larger proportions of the bigger ship. And the luxury lines are expanding with purpose-driven vessels. They're also looking at new technology, cleaner energy, hydrogen-ready, hybrid, more efficient engines, shore power capabilities, which for people who don't know, shore power means that instead of the ship when it's docked, just idling, because we can't turn it off completely, so it's got to idle, and instead of using its own power, it's going to use, which is usually some sort of gas or liquefied natural gas. It actually plugs into the shore, just like you plug in your hybrid car at night in your garage. So some ships are now being designed with shore power capability, which is supposed to be cleaner for the environment. Today, we're going to start with the mainstream lines and talk about how they've expanded their luxury offerings. And then we'll dive into everyone's favorite luxury lines and see what's new, what's coming up on the horizon. So the first is we've got Norwegian Luna. Norwegian Luna is a Prima Plus class ship. I think that Rebecca and her husband are going to be back on the podcast to talk about their experience on Norwegian Luna, hopefully soon. And that debuted back in March, I think maybe on the inaugural sailing or one of the very first sailings. Luna is the second ship in the Prima Plus class. And if you've followed the Prima ships at all, you know that Norwegian is really trying to reposition itself as almost like a mainstream plus or premium mainstream. The Haven is their luxury ship within a ship, and that's being enhanced. It's getting bigger with a more integrated Haven complex. The sun deck is supposed to be multi-story. The pool is larger, more cabanas, more shaded areas, an enhanced and redesigned outdoor dining area. The suite categories have expanded. They're supposed to be more aft-facing penthouses. Everybody loves that aft view. There's an expanded 2-bedroom family suite. The decor is supposed to be warmer and softer. The Haven restaurant, if we talk about food, has a rotating chef's menu, more seafood, more wine pairings. Just generally, those little things that we talk about have been up-leveled. And from the entertainment perspective, they've got Rocket Man, which is an Elton John tribute show. Nothing specific about that for the Haven guests, except that you have some priority seating. Norwegian Luna also has some really nice extra charge experiences. I think that the cruise lines are really upping their game. It's not just to pay an extra $50 to be able to go to the steakhouse or go to the, upscale Italian restaurant, But like Norwegian Luna has something that they're calling Lunatique, which I guess is sort of like Cirque du Soleil. It's a circus that's an added $45 a day. That's supposed to be a premium experience. You can also buy passes to the Vibe Beach Club. These are all things that you can do even if you're staying not in a suite area, not in the Haven, but you can add these to your trip to sort of up level and add a little bit of luxury. So the Haven, is really one of our mainstays in terms of ship within a ship experiences. And everybody who has been on the podcast absolutely loves it. And I'm sure that Norwegian Luna's Haven experience is going to be just continue along on that path. Next, I've got Royal Caribbean's Legend of the Seas, and that is expected to debut in the summer. It's going to debut in Europe, and then there will be a transatlantic, which wouldn't it be amazing to do a transatlantic on Legends of the Seas? Oh my gosh, absolutely. Except I'm not sure I would want to be on, because Legends of the Seas is an Icon class ship, which means that it has the expanded neighborhoods. It has Surfside, which is geared towards smaller families. It has Category 6, which is the water park that's on the top. It has the Aquadome with the Aquadome Marketplace. And so with the transatlantic, you might finally get to eat in all the locations, or maybe not. I'm not so sure I would want to be on the water slides in the middle of the Atlantic, but you never know. I'm sure there's going to be some people on there. And we talked a couple weeks ago about how they are expanding their offerings from the suite classes. They're going to not only have the ultimate family townhouse, but they're also going to have the ultimate family treehouse. All of this on Star Class. I'm sure that there will be a private sun deck as part of the suite neighborhood. The coastal kitchen menu is expected to be refreshed. You also have the Grove, which is more of a casual place to dine within the suite sun deck and within the suite neighborhood. So other things to improve Legend is going to apparently have a better pool deck layout, a better bar placement, just up leveling the Icon class in general. As far as luxury paid experiences, so on some royal ships, there is an experience it's basically a railway, but it's a train car experience, the Royal Railway. And this is going to be the Royal Railway Asia edition. So it's an immersive dining experience. It's food. You're on what you feels like a train. It's sort of like 4D. It moves a little bit. You have, screens that look like windows with things passing by. And so it's going to apparently be themed to the Silk Road. And as a Star Class guest, you will have priority access. So just more up leveling with every iteration of the Icon class and with Royal Caribbean, they really continue to enhance the offerings within their suite categories, but especially their highest suite category, which is the Star Class. And then last, when it comes to mainstream, we have MSC, and MSC sort of like world-class ships. They really are next level. And we on the podcast have heard just amazing things about MSC, World America, MSC World Europa, and now MSC World Asia. And so it's going to debut also in 2026. And again, the yacht club is going to be expanded. It's going to have an expanded sun deck. There's going to be more cabanas on the sun deck, a larger pool, bar area. In keeping with World Asia, it's going to have some Asian-inspired elements. And the suites are also going to change a little bit. The owner suite is going to be more forward-facing. Rumor has it there will be some family-friendly suite layout so that if families want to also enjoy Yacht Club, just makes the stay easier, makes it easier for planning purposes. From a dining perspective, MSC has suggested that there might be a Pan-Asian tasting service, potentially an expanded tea service, a dessert program, which sounds amazing. The concierge hours, people apparently have complained about that the concierge hours are limited. And so they're planning on expanding the concierge hours for our non-North American guests, more multilingual staff. And since MSC it has been targeting North America lately, but it is generally considered a very international cruise line. And so they want to be sure to make their guests do their announcements in 5 languages. You would hope that more guests also speak those 5 languages. So the originator of the ship within a ship concept is expanding. Oh, and I forgot about Disney Adventure. Sorry, I said that MSC was the last one, but actually I forgot about Disney Adventure. So Disney Adventure, this is the largest Disney ship ever. It has already launched. Disney didn't build it from the ground up. They actually bought this ship from a different cruise line, a different cruise company. I think they're called Genting Cruise Lines. And they bought it from them, and they have basically redone it to be consistent with Disney themes. But the basics were still there, sort of like the bones were still there, and then they Disneyfied on top of those bones. So Disney is a little bit different from, and that's probably why I didn't think of it in terms of the mainstream, because I think of Disney as being more of a premium line, like a premium family line, because of the cost. But on Disney Adventure, there will be even more concierge suites. That's their suite level, their concierge suites. There'll be more 1-bedroom suites, more 2-bedroom suites, bigger 2-bedroom suites, even more family-focused layouts. Again, it's a bigger ship, so hopefully there'll be more rooms that can accommodate those larger families and have some larger indoor and outdoor spaces. The concierge lounge is supposed to be bigger. This ship has already debuted. I think it debuted in either February or March, and it's sailing in Singapore right now. It's supposed to be sailing. I think at the time of this recording, I think the last sailing was actually canceled for some maintenance. They were having some technical difficulties and couldn't get the ship to go, which is sort of like, did you get a lemon? I don't know, but crazy, but true. As of this past week, Disney Adventure did not sail. But I digress. So it's redesigned, a larger pool, a dedicated kids splash area. They really want to bring out more of a family-friendly resort vibe that maybe they're missing a little bit in some of the other Disney ships. Other things for concierge guests, you're going to get the priority reservations, exclusive menus. They have private character meet and greets that are supposed to be expanded. And this ship, because it is sailing in Singapore, is likely designed for the Asian market. And so there are going to be those little bits of up-leveling that really appeal to Asian travelers. So now let's move on to our true luxury lines, and including one brand new line that I can't wait to tell you all about. And these ships, they're not just the same design carbon copied into a new ship with like new carpeting and new paint. They're really evolving in the design of the ship. In general, the theme was making them feel a little more residential. There's more of a wellness and sustainability and intentionality focus to these ships. The first ship is the Regent Seven Seas Prestige. So this is a landmark because Regent has not had a new class of ship in over 10 years. True to Regent, it is all suite, all balcony. We don't know for sure yet, but there may be a suite category above the Regent suite, which has traditionally been the highest. The Compass Rose, which is the Regent Seven Seas main dining room, is rumored to be redesigned, potentially with some flexible dining times, a new culinary studio, whatever that means. The thermal suites are going to be expanded and potentially even some spa-focused accommodations. Who doesn't love spa-focused accommodations? Prestige is really intended to, because Regent is a beautiful luxury line, but most people feel like it's just a tad dated. And so the Prestige is intended to set the tone for the next evolution of Regent Seven Seas. Next, debuting this year is Explora III, the third ship in the Explora journey. I think right now they are scheduled to have 6 ships in the Explora journeys under the Explora journeys umbrella. But Explora, if you listen to the podcast, I absolutely love Explora, modern European luxury. From what we know of Explora 3, there will be even larger outdoor spaces, new culinary concepts, expanded hydrotherapy. I still don't know what hydrotherapy is exactly, but I can't wait to find out. An outdoor spa, that sounds amazing. I mean, to be able to have your massage or whatever, or a facial and you're outdoors, that just sounds heavenly. More cabanas, larger and better suites, a new suite category with extended terraces. So all the things that we know and love. I haven't heard anything really groundbreaking for Explora 3, but just enhancement and expansion of all of the good things that we know about Explora. So next, I'm going to talk about a brand new cruise line, the first ship in the Four Seasons yachts. I got to say, I have been following this since they announced it, at least 2 years. And Four Seasons is a newly, highly anticipated ultra luxury yacht. And again, just like we heard with Ritz-Carlton, Four Seasons is really blurring the line between yachting and cruising. Now, there's 95 people on board. So this isn't a yacht. This is a cruise ship, but they want to call it a yacht. We're not going to argue. 95 residential style suites. And with private terraces, obviously, floor to ceiling windows that give you those beautiful panoramic views with probably multiple seating areas, a bar area, an entertainment area. This ship has already debuted, and I'm really trying to get someone who was on that inaugural sailing on the podcast. So stay tuned, hopefully soon. Apparently, there is a 4-story, 9,600 square foot funnel suite. So for those of you who have never heard of a funnel suite, like in the middle of the ship, there's this funnel. I don't even know if they're actually functional because they're supposed to be let off the exhaust, but they still keep the funnel there, but there's a suite inside of it. And it's huge. I mean, it's almost 10,000 square feet. It's 3 times the size of my house. And obviously, multiple living areas. It's supposed to have its own pool, spa-like spaces, a wraparound terrace. Of course, you're in the funnel. You have to be able to walk all the way around. Reportedly, the guest to staff ratio is 1-to-1, which means there's more people walking around than guests because a lot of those staff are behind the seats, which is crazy to think of. The yacht accommodates 220 guests and has 110 crew. And some of those people, like the people who are on the bridge, they're not serving your drinks. So it's crazy. It could be close to a 1.5 to 2-to-1 ratio of actual servers, people attending the guests. That's crazy to me. There are 11 restaurants and bars. Sedna, I hope I'm pronouncing that, is their sort of main, we'll call it their MDR. And they apparently are going to have a lineup of master chefs in residence. Modern French with the global influences, of course, your premium wine pairings, and if you wanted, a multi-course tasting menu. Outdoor dining at Terrace, that's going to have seasonal Mediterranean dishes, live cooking stations, really just to give you that al fresco dining. They've got an omakase experience. They have a patisserie called the Salon that has tea, wine, cocktails. It's going to have the Four Seasons signature tea service, light bites and that sort of thing. Obviously, a champagne and caviar bar and several other, lounges, a pool lounge. You can imagine there'll always be some place to find something to eat and drink on the Four Seasons yacht. Four Seasons yacht really wants to fashion itself as a floating luxury hotel. This is crazy to me. I couldn't believe it when I read it, but a 66-foot pool that converts into a dance floor. It's that hard to imagine because pools these days have these covers that go over them. But still, to put that on a cruise ship, that's crazy. Obviously, the spa is next level with, thermal suites and, just holistic wellness programming. One of the things that I think is the coolest about modern luxury cruise ships is they have an aft marina. So there's direct water entry. You've got your water sports platform and yacht style tendering. Whatever yacht style tendering is, I don't know the difference between yacht style tendering and just regular good old tendering, but somebody can write me and tell me all about it. The other really cool thing about Four Seasons Yachts is that they contracted with Captain Kate McHugh to be the first captain of Four Seasons once. Now, cruise lovers like me will have probably followed Captain Kate for at least the last 6 years. Captain Kate was the first American woman to command a megaton cruise ship when she took command of Celebrity Beyond. She was integral into the design of Celebrity Beyond, and likewise, I have been following her and I have seen her at the Four Seasons shipyard putting her stamp on the design of Four Seasons 1. She has been a captain for nearly 30 years, and she really developed a really strong social media following around the time of TikTok. She started a series called Captain's Log, and she lived on board the Celebrity Beyond the entire time that it was just basically floating out at sea, waiting for the cruise shutdown after COVID to be end. But she's known for being really warm. The guests love her. She's very approachable. She's absolutely beautiful. I saw a picture of her recently, I think at the Met Gala with her husband, and she looked stunning. I mean, she is a really beautiful person on the inside and out. And when I saw that Four Seasons chose her, it's no doubt that it means that they really are looking for a captain that is very approachable, that really expects excellence and is service forward, knows that the guests are the most important people on the ship, and obviously safety first, but she wants her guests to have the most amazing experience. So I absolutely love that Captain Kate McHugh is the first captain for Ritz-Carlton yachts, and I can't wait. If you have been on Ritz-Carlton yachts, and whether it's the inaugural or not, and you would like to be on the podcast to tell me about your experience, please let me know. So the next cruise line I'm going to talk about that has a new ship debuting in 2026 is Windstar. It was luxury, but it wasn't over the top. It wasn't opulent. And now the Windstar Explorer is going to be a purpose-built ship for travelers who want the intimacy of a yacht with the amenities of a boutique hotel. Again, blurring those lines. This Windstar ship, the Windstar Explorer, is going to be the first Windstar ship with true balcony suites. Some of their other ships didn't have real balconies, maybe just a little French balcony. The layouts are going to really want to bring that outdoors, indoors, and indoors, outdoors, spa-inspired bathrooms, and it's going to be a warm environment. It's supposed to be, coastal, chic design with natural woods and soft neutrals. They have a new signature restaurant. And so Windstar actually has a partnership with the James Beard Foundation. And so Star Explorer is expected to take that to the next level. Its new signature venue, its new sort of main dining room, which I could not find the name, should have a chef-driven tasting menu, rotating regional dishes that are going to be tied to the itinerary, which I love, maybe even locally sourced food, wine pairings that are going to be curated by James Beard affiliated sommeliers. And really, that dining room is going to be smaller, more intimate, and small enough so that everybody has a beautiful ocean view. The spa and the fitness experience is going to be expanded. Again, with that indoor-outdoor feel, they want the spa to be more of a sanctuary, which apparently in previous or on older Windstar ships, maybe it's not so much. A thermal suite with a steam and sauna and hydrotherapy, expanded fitness studio, dedicated yoga and Pilates space, outdoor cabanas for massages and meditation. Another cruise line that's taking those treatments to the outside, because when you're on the open sea, you want that. Yeah, I'm sure they will take measures for privacy, but you want to hear the water. I don't want to hear piped in spa music. I want to hear the water. I want to taste the salt during my massage. I want to be outside. So that sounds really amazing. They also are going to have a marina so that you have direct access to the sea, a multi-level platform where you can dive off or swim. They'll have snorkeling equipment, kayaking, paddle boards. Apparently, they're going to have a water sports concierge, which sounds amazing. So I love Windstar. I've always wanted to do a Windstar, but again, they are kind of smaller. They've always been considered luxury because they have that high crew to guest ratio, but the ships themselves maybe were not as luxurious as some of the other lines. But it sounds like with the new Windstar Explorer, they're up leveling the interior as well as the exterior. So last, I want to talk about Viking. Viking actually has two ships coming out, the Viking Mira and the Viking Libra. And, most Viking ships are carbon copies. They're just Viking's sort of standard Scandinavian, sustainable design. They're going to have some destination-focused itineraries, still keeping that adults-only atmosphere so that adults can go and really have a very intimate and quiet and luxurious experience. We do know that they're going to have hydrogen-ready propulsion on the Viking Libra. And I'm not sure when we will be ready for hydrogen-powered ships, but it sounds like Libra is ready to make that transition whenever that happens. And hydrogen will be really great for the environment with lower emissions. And it's just an example of how the cruise lines are really looking to increase their focus on the environment and their sustainability. Again, it'll still be 18 plus, so you'll have lots of quiet places to eat. And it's a quiet cruise. There's no late night disco. There's no crazy quests like we have on Royal Caribbean. Much more low key. You have an expanded thermal spa, which is obviously in a Nordic theme. You're going to have your hydrotherapy pool. Apparently, there's a snow grotto, steam rooms, cold plunge pools, heated loungers, anything Nordic spa. And you're going to be able to find that on the Viking Libra and the Viking Mira. So on the Viking Mira and the Viking Libra, every stateroom and suite is going to have its own private veranda. It's going to have a living area, a sleeping area. Apparently, they're going to have my new favorite thing on a cruise ship, which is a heated floor, which is amazing. And obviously, it's going to just continue that sort of Scandinavian theme with clean lines and natural materials. Viking is known for its food. Nothing that has been published that is really going to change in terms of new venues. You're going to have Manfredi's, the Italian restaurant, the Chef's Table, World Cafe, which is their buffet, which is like a fantastic buffet. They have afternoon tea and alfresco dining at the Aquavit Terrace. All the mainstays of Viking Cruise Lines is going to be there. So nothing super new with Viking Libra and Viking Mira, just sort of like an expansion of what we know of Viking. So that's my review of our 2026 ships. I hope you found one that is intriguing and that you may look into booking, even if you're not the first person on the ship. It's still fun to experience something new and to see all the fun, advancements and enhancements that come with a new ship. So if you have any questions about any of these ships, please do email me at luxurycruisingpodcast@gmail.com. And if you have an experience that you would like to share on the podcast, I would love to hear from you and I would love to have you on the podcast. Again, you can email me at luxurycruisingpodcast@gmail.com. And until next time, I wish you safe and luxurious cruising. Hey, before you go, if you're enjoying this content, I would so appreciate a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening to this podcast. If you'd like to be on the show, there's a link to a form in the show notes, or you can email me at luxurycruisingpodcast@gmail.com. That's luxurycruisingpodcast@gmail.com. I hope to hear from you soon.